What is going on, crew? I'm excited to share this episode with you today. The reason being is that we're going to break down some societal norms. So today we're going to get into what normal practice I did not participate in. It might be a little bit counterculture, and of course how you can apply it to your diabetes. Break down the rules that have been holding you back, and then get into a better place where you're living the life that you want to live with controlled blood sugars. So let's get into our theme song and then get to it. I've spent the last 10 years pushing the limits while identifying trends and patterns in my type 1 diabetes management. Follow along as I learn, apply, and share the fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle strategies that I've learned from diabetes experts around the world. The real question is, how can we live fearlessly with diabetes while maintaining stable blood sugars? This podcast is here to give you the answer. My name is Matt Vandevecht, head coach and co-founder of FTF Warrior, and welcome to Part of My Pancreas. All right, crew, so this last Sunday, depending on when you're watching or listening to this, was Super Bowl Sunday for 2022. Now, I don't know which Super Bowl it was, I just know it was the Rams and the Bengals. The reason I know that is because I saw it in the newspaper. But I'll tell you a secret that a lot of people do not know, and that is that I did not watch it. What? A guy didn't watch the Super Bowl? I know, it's crazy. What I will also tell you is that it's been a full, at least 24 hours. I still don't know who won, and I don't care. And I know that's gonna kind of ruffle some feathers. A lot of people are like, what, that's crazy. I'll tell you that for years, I obsessed over watching sports because I thought I was supposed to. And over the years, realized that maybe I wasn't as into sports as I thought I was supposed to be. And of course, there's this whole male role that I thought I was supposed to participate in, where it's like, oh yeah, guys watch sports, right? Guys love the Super Bowl. And it's just like what you do. And then over the years, realizing I wasn't as into it, I used to use this excuse. I would tell people, oh, I'd much rather play the sports than watch them. And I used that to deflect from the fact that I didn't really care about watching sports as much as most people seem to. And again, a few years later, realized that I could just tell people, no, I'm not watching it. You enjoy, I'm not putting anybody down by any means, but I'll do something else with my time. And for the longest period of time, I thought, based on what I had been told and what I had been seeing, that this is the norm. This is what guys do. They watch sports, they have a beer and they hang out with their friends. Reality is, I've got a lot of other things that I would rather do. And so the Super Bowl Sunday came up. My wife and I both did not watch it. We actually went and saw a movie, had a nice little date night. I got a babysitter, it was fantastic. But what was interesting is that we didn't even know it was Super Bowl Sunday until 2 days before when somebody else brought it up. And I had been so far removed from that. In fact, funny story, my wife's probably more into sports than I am. It's not part of what I care about as far as my priorities go. And I recognized there is this interesting correlation between me not really caring about watching sports. I do still enjoy playing them, for the record, but I don't fully enjoy watching them, versus what we're told in diabetes and what is the norm, what is the expectation from society or from our doctors or from what you see online. What was interesting about this distinction too is that so often there is an existing expectation of what diabetics do. And you've probably come across this in the past, right? Oh, you can't eat that. Oh, did you get it from eating too much sugar? And you're like, no, that's not how it is, right? But what you might not recognize is that a few of these expectations have burrowed themselves into your brain as this subconscious activity or a habit that you've developed. And it's something that I had to break down for myself as well. For the longest time, I thought that diabetics were supposed to eat low carb and that you were supposed to eat the same time of day and that you were supposed to do X, Y, Z, and you feel locked in. But you don't realize that until you really take a step back to observe your own behaviors. And most of us don't do this naturally. That's why it took me, this long in life to realize that I don't really like watching sports. These subconscious habits that are determined by our behaviors and beliefs that we learn young in our lives, or at least early in our diagnoses, for those of you thinking about diabetes, that it becomes a subconscious routine that can hold us back. And with diabetes, so often there are medical teams that will promote certain diets or certain lifestyle habits or certain restrictions or limitations and hide it under this guise of because you're diabetic. And we just take it, we accept it, because that's what we believe to be the norm. And what I want to challenge you with today in this short period of time is to challenge the norm, to challenge the expectations, challenge the beliefs that you hold, and ask why. Why can't I have carbs? Why can't I eat at different times of the day? Why can't I go run a marathon? Why can't I do XYZ? Think creatively, go crazy with it. Why not, right? Or why do I do XYZ? Think about these reasons and try to figure out why these habits exist in the first place, and is it serving you well? I think about all the years that I watched sports, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. It wasn't the worst thing in the world by any means, but it wasn't my favorite, right? Sorry about the airplane overhead. I'm filming in a new location, as you can tell. We are traveling right now. Maybe I'll make an episode about what to expect when traveling or on the road or something like that. But with these expectations, these societal norms, and of course these rules that are placed on us as diabetics, so often it can limit our lifestyle, and we live in a box, restricted, not knowing what our full potential could look like. You think that you can't have carbs, so you avoid them. Well, you're missing out on a whole chunk of food, really good food, right? You think that you can't do certain activities, so you never get to experience these amazing active accomplishments. There we go. You know, sports accomplishments, or maybe you wanted to run a marathon, you want to go camping, you want to travel the world, but you were told no, right? Or maybe the expectations that were set led you to believe that that was not possible. Today, I challenge you to challenge the expectations, challenge the norm, challenge the cookie cutter recipe for diabetes that we were given when we were first diagnosed and encouraged to follow. It's not right. We have a lot of new research being done that shows you can be flexible, you can eat more foods, you can go run a marathon. I personally know somebody who's run plenty of marathons and they have type 1 and they're okay, right? Challenge the norm and look at this thing from a new perspective. Considering that we are living with a disease that requires that we document our own findings. We look at our blood sugars, we bring that data to the endocrinologist and they help us to interpret it. You're allowed to experiment with your diabetes. And of course, this is not medical advice. Let's take a step back. I'm not telling you to go crazy and just like take random amounts of insulin, but understand that this disease requires that you ask why, requires that you have input in your care. Because if you were to take your hands off completely, not count your carbs, not dose your insulin, things are gonna go haywire, right? It is your responsibility to challenge the system, to challenge the rules that you've been told to live by and ask why. Why can't I do this? Why do I have to do that? And you get to open up this whole new realm of what do I want my life to look like with diabetes. Just like I had to open myself up and ask, why do I feel like I have to watch sports? Right? It's not that sports are evil or that you shouldn't watch them. Sports are great, but it's not my forte. I don't really care. And as a result, I've opened up my Sundays. I get to do things that I enjoy. Mountain biking, going for a run, going on a date night with my wife. You have to ask why, challenge the system, the beliefs that you hold, and see what you want your life to look like. And that alone will open up an entirely new conversation upon what strategies you need to implement to build that life with your diabetes controlled. It might look like different dosing for your insulin to carb, your pre-bolus, your whether you're MDI or pump, like all these different conversations are gonna open up that aren't easy, but will lead to a better long-term result, all right? And if you're somebody who doesn't know what to ask or why to ask these questions or where to look for the answers, we've got you covered, all right? There's a community online that we've built. It's a free support group entirely built around the world of diabetes, a bunch of different people doing what they love, asking the right questions, and getting the support they need. All right, and just a fun fact, I do these episodes every week. I also do live trainings in that group every single week, all right? Completely free. Everything in there is free. You can get access to it at thewarriorstribe.com. Head over there right now, go to thewarriorstribe.com. That's warriors with an S, so thewarriorstribe.com. Head over there, jump into the group, and just start looking around for what else is possible and what you want your life to look like. Pull in these new strategies, build connections, and start to create the life that you enjoy, that you actually want to live, and learn how to thrive with your diabetes. All right, that's all I got for you today. I got to run to a client coaching call, one of mine, but go jump over there and just jump into that whole community. Be surrounded by people who get it, who get you, who get this disease, and want more out of life. join us in our renegade ways. We are taking it into our own hands and we are questioning why, challenging the rules, and I encourage you to do the same. All right? TheWarriorsTribe.com. Have an amazing rest of your day. If you did watch the Super Bowl, no judgment. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure I'll find out who won in the next day or two with all of it on the social media, but I truly want you to build the life that you want to live. That is the take home here. Be healthy, be happy, and jump in that group. I'll see you over there, and keep up the fight.